Think we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Glad to have so many people really excited about this topic, as are we. So without further ado, let's get it kicked off. So today we're here to talk about our new on-screen takeoff feature. We just rolled it out. We are super excited about this. It has been a lot of work, and I've got Michael Villarreal here. He is one of our customer success managers and very quickly becoming one of our Takeoff product experts. Has been doing a lot of different trainings and demos of it and stuff. So figured I'd go ahead and have him come in and help me out with this. Again, JobTread Connect, what an incredible event. We are so excited that, we had around 1,000 people from all over the world came in to spend the last couple days with us. We had 3 full days of education, networking, just so much. We rolled out a ton of new features right before JobTread Connect, which is really exciting. And then for all of you who were there, you saw Michael do a preview of the Takeoff on Thursday. And then in the dev keynote, we finally got this rolled out, made it available to everyone. The excitement and all the feedback that we've seen so far has been really, really, good. And so we're very excited to kind of go a little bit more in depth here today with you, talk a little bit more about it, and then give you a live demo of the new feature for anyone who hadn't seen it or watched the videos and the trainings that we put out. We're gonna dive into that here. So, what is it? Takeoff is the process of measuring and quantifying your materials directly from your project plans. So this allows you to, quickly create your estimates, be able to accurately take all the measurements right in JobTread, and this is going to just hopefully save you a ton of time. You get to upload those plans straight into JobTread, and this is a seamlessly built integration. We looked at, do we integrate with existing Takeoff solutions? Do we go buy a Takeoff solution like some of our competitors have done? We saw the challenges that they've had getting it integrated. And at the end of the day, we decided that it just made the most sense for us to invest in this and to build this ourselves. And so we took this endeavor on at JobTread Connect 2024. And so we have since then have been working tirelessly to make this become a reality and have built it directly into JobTread, which gave us the most power to couple this with the existing JobTread features and the jobs that you're already used to managing. So we're really, really excited about what we've been able to do with this. So again, there is a new plans tab directly on the job, and you're able to upload those plans, any plans that you get from your architects, from designers, whoever, however you get them, even from other third-party integrations, you can directly upload those to JobTread and do your on-screen takeoff right there in JobTread. You can measure areas, volumes, links, counts. I mean, there's a ton of different measurement tools that you're able to use within the feature. And this is also going to allow you to combine multiple inputs into parameters that can then be referenced in your job budget. And so this is how you truly can streamline the process of building out your budgets and getting those estimates out the door as quickly as possible, but also as accurately as possible. You can leverage our formulas to calculate the line item quantities, you're as well as cost and price, but again, from the measurement data, you can directly do that material takeoff with formulas in your budget and ultimately put that onto your estimate. So we're super, super excited about this. We have heard for a long time, many of you have asked us to be able to do this, or what do we recommend that you use for Takeoff, and how do you get all that data in? And we have seen how much extra time it's taken you to have to use other solutions and then having to manually, copy it or type it in there or import it or whatever you were doing to get it in there. We are just so excited that you can now do all of that directly in JobTread. So you will have this new plans tab. And one thing to note, if you don't see it for some reason, maybe someone's turned it off, you can go into the settings. If you don't want to use this at all, no problem. You can turn it off in the settings. You can also reorder your job navigation menu. So if you wanted it to be somewhere else in the menu, maybe you want it to be, before budget or after, at the end, wherever you want it, you can enable the plans tab to show up, and you can control where it shows up as well. This is going to operate with the existing parameter functionality. So everything that you've been doing so far with parameters, like you have all of that and it's directly integrated to it. Now, parameters got some really nice updates coming in there. So I think Michael will show you a little bit about that here in a second. Another neat thing that we got was being able to allow you to track the plan versions. This is a super helpful feature. We heard time and time again, well, if I upload one set of plans, what happens when they change or when we get a new version of that? Am I going to have to redo everything? And the answer is no. So we're really excited about that feature. And again, this can be used in any phase of the project. It doesn't have to be, before you've built the budget or before you've sent your proposal. If you come back in later where you have a change order, you have something else you need to measure, you can use this at any point within the job's life cycle. And we think that this is going to be really helpful to your entire team as well, so that everyone can be on the same page about the plans, see what measurements have been taken. So again, really, really excited about all of this. And without any further ado, I am so excited to let Michael here jump into this demo, because that's where you're really going to see the magic happen.
Perfect. I appreciate it, Eric. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today. I am extremely excited to show you here our Takeoff tool. So I am logged into JobTread here, and I'm going to jump straight into it. So I'm going to jump into this job here, and like Eric mentioned, you're going to see a brand new tab on there. So this is that plans tab that Eric was mentioning. This plans tab is where the magic happens, if you will. Okay, so I'm jumping into a job here, but before I upload anything on here, I just want to talk a little bit about the budget, because again, that plans tab is going to allow me to go and take a bunch of measurements. But the point of that is to be able to then streamline my estimating process to bring those parameters, to bring those quantities, those takeoffs into the budget here. So I've got a couple of line items related to flooring, to drywall, some windows and door stuff here. So that's the example that I'm going to be using today. And of course, I'll explain and show how you bring those items in here. But again, I am starting with a budget item already in here, or a budget, I should say, already in here. But let's jump over to the plans. So first things first, I have two options to get my plans in here. I can upload straight from my computer, or I can even copy from the Files tab on this job. If you're storing your plans on the job, then you can go ahead and hit copy like I will here. And I've got a little PDF here that I can work off of. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And on the bottom right, just hit add one file, give it a couple seconds, and you'll see that upload. So there we go. That was one PDF. The system has obviously read the pages and separated those out into their individual pages. Now, I know you guys are going to have questions here. We have a whole slew of team members on the chat, so feel free to throw your questions on there. I already see some awesome questions coming in there, and Anna, Travis, or Taylor will be able to help you. But I'll just run through this real quick. So one of the first things that I want to jump into is one of the line items that I have. So for example, I want to go and take account of something. Let's just jump right into it. I'm going to open up one of these. So this right here is my first floor plan. So first things first, any takeoff that I need to go ahead and take care of, first thing I need to do is set the scale on this sheet. Otherwise, how does the system know what to reference in terms of measurements? So that actually happens right here on the bottom right, that big old green button that says scale plan. Clicking on that will give you two options. Now, for maybe the majority of people, you might have a scale already set on your plan. You can see right here on mine, it's right there on the bottom left. That 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So you can preset the scale with that preset scales right here. And you'll have a list of both architectural and civil scales that you can work with. So I can go ahead and select that as well. Now, you may have noticed, if you were paying attention there, that you also have a way to set a manual scale. So that manual scale right there, that allows you to actually select 2 points, right, of maybe an existing measurement on your plan sheet, and go ahead and set the scale that way, because not every set of plans is going to have a scale, for example. Or maybe you're using something like an aerial view, right, from Google Maps or something like that. So you can, just to kind of demonstrate that, I'm going to come in here, select that. It opens up the cursor into a magnified view, so you can easily come in here and say, all right, this is the start. Come over and get the other end of it. And I know that that is 5'8" because that's what the plan is saying. So I can say 5 feet, 8 inches, and go ahead and hit update. So now you'll see on the bottom right, it's got a little tilde right there, just letting you know it's approximately 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. Of course, when I'm manually setting it, there's a little bit of room for fluctuation there. So just be mindful of that. I'm always of the mindset, if you've got the scale, go ahead and set the scale. So right here from those preset ones. So great. I've got my first page here. Once the scale is set, I'm good to go. This page is scaled forever, if you will. Of course, I can always adjust it. The last little thing I want to show you here is this little ruler tool. So this one here, again, just a quick little confirmation. When I click on that ruler, I can come in here and just take a quick measurement and verify, okay, is this truly accurate? Yep, that's 8 feet right there. So I know that my scale is accurate and I am good to go. I can trust in my measurements here. I am someone who loves to double, triple check. So anyway, let's jump into it. First thing I'm going to jump into actually is going to be this parameters right here. So when I'm ready to start taking measurements, this is where I'm going to start after I set that scale. I'm going to create a new parameter. Eric was mentioning this. We are building off of that parameter tool that we already have available in the budgets. So when I go ahead and hit this plus parameter right here, I have a whole slew of options. These first three were already existing parameters, and I'll kind of gloss over those for just a second because I want to jump straight into the parameters that were added for this takeoff tool. And this very first one is the count one. Not really a, square footage measurement or anything like that. It's quite literally a count. So in this example, I want to go ahead and do a windows and doors count, for example. Let me start with windows. I can go ahead and just come in here and click on count right there. I give it a quick little name. I can say windows is the name of the parameter. And maybe I have different types of windows. Once I hit enter here, I'm going to be able to start counting immediately. But hey, I'm going to go ahead and give this count a name. So this one is going to be the 2 foot by 3 foot windows, for example, right? Just like that. And then I can come in here and say, yeah, you know what? That's this window right here. It's going to go ahead and throw a little dot on it. And that's this window right here. They're my 2 foot by 3 foot windows, right? Maybe I also want to go ahead and capture some other window types. Maybe I have 4 foot by 6 foot windows. If I go ahead and hit plus measurement right here, I can actually go ahead and just say, all right, let me also count the 4 foot by 6 foot windows. And then same thing, maybe I've got some different ones here that I want to go ahead and measure. I can measure those and say, great, I've got 2 of each. Fantastic. So I've got those counted and I'm ready to go. So pretty simple, right? Counts, not really much to it. I like the ability of being able to break out into different groups because I'll show you in the budget, you can reference the individual measurements, or you'll even be able to reference just the total windows if you wanted to. So maybe you need to break it out for your materials for these two on some line items, but for install, maybe you just reference the master level of windows, the total of 4. So we'll go over that in just a second. Before I jump over to something else, let me jump into another parameter here. If I hit plus parameter, let's say I want to do some flooring now. I can come in here and I can do a quick little area and I can do flooring. And maybe this is specifically the living room, right? I can come in here and say, show me that living room flooring. I'm going to go ahead and just come in here and take a quick little measurement. So now I'm working with an area. So I'm going to draw a nice little box around here. And then just hitting enter once I'm there will kind of complete that area for me and I'm good to go. Something that I want to note is I can always come in here and add more to this measurement that I just took, right? Let's say I pressed enter too early, but you know what? Turns out that this kitchen is also hardwood. Let me make sure I come in here and just click on this little measurement right there. That will put me back into measurement mode if I'm not already in it, just to kind of exemplify. I can stop here, right? Then I can always click right here and it'll take me right back into measurements. And just because I'm feeling like I want to be a little efficient here, I'm going to actually switch over to the rectangle, right? I was doing a polyline takeoff right there previously. Now I'm going to switch over to the rectangle and I want to show you this little tool here. If I just click and drag, I can now just draw a quick little rectangle or square on there, and that lets me add on to that square footage as well. So you'll see that my square footage has now updated accordingly. Again, I could separate these into different line items, or I can keep it on the same one. So this isn't really relevant to the living room anymore. Maybe I'll just change it to first floor. There we go. So There we go. I've got some areas, I've got some counts. Let's go ahead and maybe take a look at something else. Like go ahead and hit save on the top right, and I am good to go. Maybe I also want to go in and do some siding. I have a pretty cool thing I want to show you with siding. So I can click on this plans right here to go ahead and go back to my plans list. Maybe go to one of these elevations right here, like this one right here. And I want to take off this siding. How do I do that? Well, we have got, of course, an area that we can work with. And I can just name that siding real quick and just call this the north elevation. You can see at the bottom that this is the north elevation. I want to make sure I don't forget that I need to scale this plan. So I'm going to go scale that plan real quick. And I'm going to set that to 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. And again, I want to be efficient about this, and I don't want to draw around every single one of these windows. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come in here and hit rectangle, and I'm just going to draw it all throughout the side of the wall here. So obviously, I need to account for these windows, right? And what we can do here is we can also just use the rectangle tool, but instead of doing a positive measurement, so let me come back in here to make sure I can do a measurement. I'm going to switch to that rectangle, but instead of doing a positive measurement, I'm just going to do a real quick negative measurement. So by doing that, I can actually come in here and remove from that specific measurement that I just took. And so now the other cool thing is maybe I don't want to draw a rectangle for each of these windows. I can just select and then I can actually copy and paste it, right? So this hopefully will save some time from having to draw around every single window. I remember using a Takeoff software where I had to do that. I had to work around every single window, and that just took minutes and minutes. And so I can just very quickly throw on here some windows and even the door. I can just resize this right here. And now my negative measurement is included and my siding has been reduced to account for those windows and those doors on there. So again, a very powerful tool to be able to come in here and do those negative measurements. Okay. So we've talked about the area, we've talked about counts. We have the ability to do many other things here. For example, we have a simple one like linear, right? You wanted to go ahead and take the perimeter of a room, so you have the baseboard, for example. That is something you can absolutely do as well. You have the ability to do an area pitch. I'm here on this page. Area pitch could be useful for taking the roof measurement here. So if I wanted to, I could do that. I can come in here, create a real quick one that's called roofing, and then we can call this again the north elevation. And then again, I'm going to be real convenient or real efficient here. And I'm just going to kind of drag and drop that little rectangle. And now I've got that as well. Again, I could do a little negative on here if I want to go ahead and throw that negative on there to make sure I don't count for that little chimney. But there we go. What am I missing here? Well, there's a slope to these roofs, right? So that's what this third dimension allows you to do. You're going to see on the parameters that require that third dimension, this little dropout here opens up automatically to allow you to fill in that information. So I can see on the plan right here that it's a 12/12. So I just go ahead and mimic that right here. I've got that 12/12. And then I can go ahead and hit save. And now I've got a couple measurements that I can play with. Before I step away from the plans tab, something that I want to show you is just a couple of these options that you have when you are working with your measurements. If I wanted to come in here and I wanted to count these windows here, for example, right, I could always add to these right here. But let's say it's getting a little noisy and I don't like how this is starting to look and it's distracting me from doing my counts. I can always come in here and I can hide measurements as well with this little eye icon. You've probably seen that little eye icon before on our documents. Well, it's here with us now in the plans as well. So you can come in here and hide those measurements. You get a clean slate, and now you can do your measurements without those distractions. So you've got that cool tool there available to you. I already touched that plans button before. That takes me right back to the plans, but we also have this recent plans button that shows me all the previous plans that I've been working in, so I can easily bounce back and forth between them. Another really convenient tool is actually over here. You can go to the measurements right off of here, and that will actually take you to that plan page. And it will go ahead and open it up for you or select that measurement, I should say. And that's not the only place where you're going to be able to do that. You can even do that from the budget, which I'll show in just a second. So I hope you all are excited about this. This has been my favorite tool so far. I am just getting done with doing some measurements here. Let's actually figure out or work on how this helps empower our estimating. So if I go over to the budget tab right now, and I come in and look at my line items in here, great. You'll see some similar line items to what I was taking off in my plans page right here. One of them being these windows, for example. So how do I reference this? Well, first things first, I want to make sure that everyone is aware of this quantity formula column here. This is what makes it really convenient to be able to reference your parameters right here on the budget. Because I can always come in here, hit the three dots on next to any of these line items, hit show details, and add a formula here. But I'd rather just do it here on the budget tab real quick. So how do I add this quantity formula? This little budget view settings button right here, just a little FYI. If I scroll down here, there's my quantity formula, and I can reorganize my columns here to have them in whatever order I need to make this most efficient for me and my team. So once you've got that turned on, I can actually come in here and start to reference them. Where are these being stored? Well, we know about the parameters being stored in the plans page, but if you haven't seen it already, we have a parameters button up here. If I click on that, here are those parameters as well. Now you get a nice little ability to expand and collapse them, to reorganize them. And all of this information here is what I'm going to be referencing inside of my budget. So just wanted to show you this quick little parameters on here. By the way, kind of alluded to this earlier. If I click on this go-to measurement here on this parameters, this will actually take me to the plans page and select that measurement. So again, I can very quickly find and add to these measurements as needed. And I also have that ability to just click right here and start adding to those measurements. So enough said, let me jump right into it. So I know under windows and doors, I had some 2x3 vinyl windows. I can come here to the quantity formula, and there are my parameters. There they are being referenced. I can come in here now and just select that 2x3 and look at my quantity. My quantity is now going to reflect whatever I have in that takeoff. So I can come in here and kind of just fill those in. I also have my 4x6 windows. Here's my siding as well. I can come in here and just, hey, notice the multiple levels. This is what I was talking about at the beginning. You can reference the individual measurements, or you can reference the total of those measurements. So in the case of the siding, yeah, I could reference just the north or just the south, but I'm really more interested in referencing all of the siding on here. So I can just select siding, and there goes my measurement. Of course, a lot of the times I can't get exactly 491.2 square feet of siding. So I need to make sure that I'm accounting for the fact that I'm going to have to purchase more than that exact number. So what am I going to have to do? Well, we have some additional ability to add to these formulas with the round option and some other ones in here. So I could, of course, round here, but let me show you something. If I do round there, well, it rounded down. Not quite what I need, right? I'm not looking to estimate less than what I'm actually going to have to buy. So you actually have the opportunity to also utilize the ceiling function. So if I scroll down here, there's that ceiling right there. And it says right there, it rounds up to a certain number of decimal places. So if I just throw that ceiling function on there, this will just round it up to that 492. I can also round it up if I want to by putting that comma first and then doing, I believe I can even do like a -2 that lets me do to the hundredths place if I'm not mistaken. So this should get me up to 500. So maybe I want to make sure I can only purchase these in 100 square foot increments. So I want to make sure that I round it up to the hundreds. So that is something that you're capable of doing as well. You can also do it to the tenths if you do -1. And so this is going to be very helpful to make sure that you're factoring for that kind of capability of how or what amounts you can purchase it in. But of course, you also want to make sure that you're accounting for any wastage, right? So let me come in here and let me just reference siding again, for example. I can come in here and say, you know what? Typical wastage factor that my guys go through on this is 10% or maybe 15%. It's as simple as just coming in here and doing that arithmetic in this quantity formula. Just coming in here and hitting that, okay, times 1.15. That's going to add an additional 15%. And then I can throw the ceiling function on top of that if I wanted to go ahead and round it up to the next whole number or round it up to the next 10th or the 100th or whatever it might be. So you can get incredibly creative and incredibly efficient with how you do your estimating if you already build in these kinds of formulas into your line items. So just be thinking about, okay, how do I want to make sure that I organize these? How do I want to make sure that I round these or whatever it may be? And that will save you a whole lot of time from having to manually, obviously, do those calculations and make those adjustments. So again, just for the sake of showing this, I can come in here and I can reference that first floor flooring. I can reference the second floor or just the total, whatever I might have on there. But you'll see now, I've already got my unit cost built into my catalog. At this point, as soon as I'm throwing those takeoff quantities in there, it is going and it is giving me my cost. And of course, with my margin on top of it, it is already spitting out my price. So here we go. We're starting to really build out an estimate here. So these are just some of the examples that you can do. Just to jump over back to the parameters real quick, I really want to exemplify how if I want to make adjustments, if I need to make adjustments, I can't. I can always come in here and I can say, you know what, I think I missed some windows. Let me actually go to those 2x3 windows and let me add some additional, oh, you know what, there's a window right there. Okay, well, let me just make sure I come in here. I think that's a 2x3. So let me go ahead and add to that measurement and add that 2x3 right there. So the cool thing about this is once I hit save on this, that number goes up to 3 and my budget is already reflecting that. I don't need to go back in there and make any further adjustments on it. So this is tied and linked to your plans and being updated live as you're making changes on those plans. So building out those links, let me hit save up there real quick. Building out those links, again, is just going to help you avoid missing things, right? Even as you're going and making those adjustments, making those changes, you're going to have your budget already reflecting it. So it's one less opportunity for you and your team to miss something. Just a couple other small things I want to mention is of course coloring. You can change the colors on here. So if I want to make sure my 2x3s are a certain color, but my 4x6s are another color, great. I can do that adjustment. You get the whole color spectrum here to be able to play with. So you have that flexibility as well. I can reorganize these in whatever manner I need to. If I want to reorganize, if I have a specific way of things that I like to do takeoff in, then I can make sure I organize it that way. I can make sure I bring it in that way. I can make sure that I build it out that way. And so the goal here is to templatize this stuff as well so that you're saving you and your estimating team the time from having to build this out every single time, right? Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I'll just briefly touch on it, is this right here, this version control. You will have the ability to have version control on these plans as well. As you receive updated drawings for any of the sheets, you'll be able to come in here and add additional versions. So you and the team are always working off of the latest version of plans. So that is something in there that we'll be able to do as well. You can obviously rename the files as well. So right now, if I go back, they just kind of have the name of the PDF, but you can rename them. And you also have the ability to do markup on this, right? So I've been doing takeoff and, drawing area and doing counts and all of that. But this toolbar over here that I haven't really touched too much, this is for your markup right here. So if I wanted to make sure that I was also maybe putting in specific text, I could, maybe I want to come in here for one of my estimators and say, hey, make sure not to miss the bathroom tile. I can do that. I can play around with the texting. I can bold it. I can point towards it. I can do all that stuff. So it's the combination of what update we pushed out a couple months back with the photo markup, and we've given you the opportunity to do that here as well. So just wanted to share that aspect as well. Let me back up here. Awesome. So I think I've covered just about everything on this section at the moment. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything else here. You have the ability to go full screen. You have the ability to very quickly, if you're working on your mouse, to right click and add parameters right here. There's also shortcuts. So if you're someone who loves to just quickly move about in the keyboard, you do have, if you hit Shift question mark, and this is for any page on JobTread, by the way, if I come in here and hit that Shift question mark, you're going to see there's a whole slew of shortcuts to quickly go in there and create new parameters and start working right off the bat. So it's all about efficiency here at JobTread. We truly believe in that. We want to make you as efficient as possible. So that may seem like something small, but it truly helps with just kind of keep you in the flow. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything else here. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover at this point. Again, I'm covering the parameters and the ability to go in there and add them to your budget, the fact that they link together and they connect together. I think that's about all that I wanted to cover. Anything else specific you can think of, Eric?
Well, I've just been watching the chat here just a little bit. Appreciate Anna and Travis and everyone who's responded, but like a lot of questions about how to do, the use production rates to calculate, let's say the number of hours it might take someone to do that. And all of that would be done in the budget, just like you can do today, but using these formulas, as long as you know what your production rates are, then you could either hard code them into the formulas, you could create you could have a custom field for the cost item if you wanted to have a production rate where maybe you modify it, within each budget, but that formula could reference the production rate. So if you know that you got 10,000 square feet of something and it takes you how many hours, however many square feet you can do per hour, then you could build that into this formula here, and then that would ultimately calculate the number of hours or days. So production rates can definitely be taken into account here. I think that was probably the number one question I've seen being asked coming through over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are we thinking, guys? Pretty exciting. Let me see in the chat if you're excited about that.
Yeah, I guess one other thing to note is again, like setting up these formulas and parameters in the catalog will allow you to seamlessly pull this in every time so that you don't have to do, set up the formulas and build them out every single time. Like this is why it's so important to take the time to set up your catalog and your budget templates there so that they're automatically pulled in, when you create a new job.
Yeah, yeah. And just to kind of very quickly, if I came in here to my catalog, for example, and let's say I added a parameter for concrete. I came in here and I did a concrete parameter and I made it a quick little volume, and I hit save on this and I go into one of my templates here, my remodel template. I think I have a concrete in here. Yeah, I do. So I can actually come in here and I can just edit that formula right here. And I'm actually going to go and reference that concrete right there. So if I go ahead and do that, let me hit save on it. Go back to my job over here. Let's ignore this other budget that I have in here for a second. But if I hit that plus group, bring in that remodel template, I can open up that foundation right there, that concrete right there. And then I can even see if I come up here to the parameters, there's my concrete. There's my area volume concrete. I can go ahead and now go to my plans, and I need to make sure I hit that save. Go over to the plans, and there's my concrete measurement ready for me to start taking measurements. So I can jump straight into any one of these plans. Again, let's say I want to hide everything except the concrete and just start taking measurements. I can come in here, say, first floor or foundation, and just come in here, add to that measurement, take a quick little rectangle, drop into it, add a depth to it. That's that third dimension that I mentioned. Let's say this is a 4-inch slab, and that'll give me my cubic yardage right there. Once I hit save on this, I haven't had to do anything on my foundation. I now have a number of cubic yards. And of course, I could have built in that ceiling function, that waste factor in that template. And here we go. All I had to do was go draw some figures on my plans, and I've got a number ready to go.
Yeah, it was really nice how you saw if you import the budget template first, then it'll automatically show up as part of the plan takeoff that you need to go and complete.
Got it. Perfect. Any other questions that we might want to touch on here, Eric, that you've seen?
Well, or if I don't know if Taylor or Anna or Travis, if y'all have any that you think we need to answer live. I see you guys have really been working hard to answer everyone. It's
Awesome. So since I've got a second here, I'm seeing some about like walls. Let's take a look at maybe like drywall or a paint one real quick. It's for a parameter I haven't done yet. But if I go to the plans here, and let's say I want to say, this is starting to get real busy, y'all. I'm going to come in here and hide those measurements real quick. But let's say I wanted to take how much paint is in this room, right? We have a parameter that can help with that. So that parameter would be that linear area. So let me show you what that does. If I come in here and I name that paint, for example, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and I'm going to call this the living room walls. Great. So now what it's going to ask me to do is it's going to ask me to draw a line. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw that line up against this wall, just like this. And then what it's going to end up asking me to finish off with is a height. That's that third dimension right there, or second, I guess, in this case. This is an area. So I've got the linear footage, but how tall is that wall? If it's a 9-foot drywall, I can come in here and just adjust this to 9. And now I've got a square footage that I can work with for paint that I can go reference in my paint. And again, I can come in here if I know that there's something that's going to take up that whole wall. Please don't forget, you have the ability to do a negative measurement as well. So if I know I'm not painting this part here, I've got the chimney and I got brick taking up that whole wall, I don't need that. I can come in here and just kind of take that negative right there, and that will go ahead and remove that. So this is one of those examples for, again, paint and for drywall as well. I can even do, for example, just really quick, a linear drop. So let's say each of these doors have trim around the 3 areas. I can even come in here and do a quick little linear drop where I could say, hey, door trim. I can come in here and say this opening right here is going to have a door and it's going to have trim on either side of it, as well as the horizontal portion up top. So if I just draw that little linear drop right there, I'll be able to say, okay, 3.2 foot wide, and I could say that it's a 7-foot door, and it's starting to give me my trim on there. This is maybe the living room doors or whatever I want to do. So I've got 17.2 feet of trim just from that one door there. Again, looking at the 3 sides of it. So a lot of different parameters, a lot of different measurements you can take here. And this is just the start. I'll let Eric talk more about this, but guys, this is V1 of it. I mean, Mike, who's in the chat, so show a little love for Mike here. I know I've already seen a couple in there. He's been working on this, his baby, essentially, for a while now, and the work is starting to shine. Even just as a V1, this tool is incredibly exciting for me, and I know it's been a very exciting for a lot of our customers. So I really appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to demo this in front of y'all today.
Yeah, great job, Michael.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do want to we'll kind of wrap up with a few more things, and we'll open it up fully for Q&A. So we do have a lot of takeoff training resources that are going to be available to you. We already have live trainings going on. The JobTread 203 is the on-screen takeoff training that Anna and her team will be doing throughout. Every week. You just got to go find them in the help desk to schedule. We've also got live think tanks that are going to go on for the takeoff process. So if you would just want to kind of collaborate with others and how people are using it and incorporating it into your process, you can do that as well. As usual, the help desk, we've got a lot of different videos and articles, and we'll continue to add to that. And then, if you ever need, please don't hesitate to reach out to your customer success manager, as well as the JobTread Pros Facebook group. Awesome resource, great community. Everyone is here and ready to help you however you need to learn the tool or to figure out how to implement it for your process. We're really excited to be here as a resource. You can also come up and find us at any of these upcoming events. We have a very busy schedule coming up here. Actually, on Monday, we'll be going to Denver for the CDX Deck Superstore conference. I'm actually getting to keynote, which is really cool. We've also got Anna and Riley going up to Minnesota. There is a TimberTech Decking Summit on the February 4th and the 6th. And so for whatever reason, it's 2 different days and we got a day in the middle. They've decided to host a 1-day training and meetup in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So more details coming about that. Also on February 4th through the 6th, we've got a storm restoration contractor summit here in Dallas. Love to know if you're coming in for that. Come see us. We've got the Western Pool and Spa Show in Long Beach, California. That's February 6th to the 8th. So we'll have a crew out there. Got another pool, the Southwest Pool and Spa shows in San Antonio. And then after that, we've got the International Roofing Show. Really excited. This is our first time attending IRE. That will also be in San Antonio, February 19th to the 21st. And then last but not least, we've got IBS coming up. We are pumped for another huge conference. This is our biggest conference last year. We can't wait. We have doubled our booth size. We are again a finalist for Best of IBS. Hopefully we can bring home the trophy this year, but that will be the last week of February. So please, if you're going to be out there or be at any of these shows, come by, come see us. We've got hats for you and other stuff that we'd love to give you, but just again, shake your hand, meet you face to face. We love that opportunity. So please do come see us at one of these shows if you'll be there. And we also have boot camps. We're about to fire up the boot camp circuit as well. That will, I believe, start in March after we get through February. As you saw, February is going to be a very, very busy month for us. But these are the 2 days here at JobTread headquarters at Dallas, Texas. Anna and her team, they do a phenomenal job walking through the basics. It is a hands-on, still rather intensive workshop, but we have all of your breakfast, your lunch. We do a happy hour. All of that's covered within this 2-day event. So we'd love to see you all, especially if you're new and need to kind of get the basics down. We are going to have multiple per month, hopefully in some months, especially after this huge rush. But registration will be opening up soon in the JobTread marketplace. We're also going to try to publish the entire schedule for the year just so that you can plan ahead and get those tickets. Lastly, the JobTread Pros Facebook group. Man, this is one of my favorite things ever. If you're not part of this group, please do go join. It is such a great resource. Like the community that has formed around JobTread has been one of the most amazing things that I have ever seen. And honestly, I had no idea. I did not see this coming when we set out on this journey. You all are just so helpful, and you're helping us. You're giving us feedback, but you're helping each other. You're helping people learn, people who are new, trying to figure out how to do stuff, sharing ideas, best practices, coming up with new ways to automate things and workflows and Zapier. And it is just the most incredible community that you all have come together to form. The positivity is so awesome. Seriously, it means the world to me that you all are here helping each other. If you're at JobTread Connect, or if you watch my opening keynote on YouTube, once we get out there, like my favorite saying is, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I think this community truly embodies that. And we are so excited to see you all helping each other. I think we are have just hit 5,000 members in this community. So if you're not part of it, do go check it out. It may take us a minute to get you in there. We do actually look up every single person, make sure you're a JobTread user. We want this to be an exclusive community and to keep that awesome vibe, that awesome positivity, for you all to help each other, not just with JobTread, but other challenges that you may be facing within your business. We're here for you. We're very active, and we love this group. And definitely keep up with the What's New tab that's in the help desk. We are continually putting out a lot of updates. There's tons of great new features that we're going to keep rolling out. We've got a busy development roadmap ahead. If you didn't watch the development keynote live, then it is already on our YouTube, so you can see what's on our roadmap. But this is how you're going to know when new features go live. We obviously post in the Facebook group as well. And I think we're trying to get like an email list going. So if anyone wants to subscribe to that, you'll be able to do that as well. But we got a lot of awesome updates planned for this year, and you'll always be able to come here and see the latest and greatest along with a video to learn more about it. So lastly, I want to thank you all for the incredible shout outs that you continue to do for us. Like, this is how we have been able to continue growing JobTread. We have so many amazing customers that are willing to share their experience working with us and giving us all the reviews on the social, in all those different contractor groups, and people are asking, what are you using for estimating or Takeoff or project management? Like, you all come in, it is so incredible to see that. And it means the world to us. And it has helped us to continue growing our business as quickly as we had without having to spend a whole bunch of money on ads, without having to, drastically increase our customer acquisition costs. Like we don't do any outbound cold calling. We don't do much email marketing. Like you all in this community has helped to keep this thing growing organically. That helps us keep our costs down, which is our goal, to keep JobTread as affordable as possible. We want to get this into tens of thousands, eventually hundreds of thousands of construction companies' hands all over the world. So thank you all for helping us continue to accomplish that goal. It means the world to us. We appreciate it. And we continue to pour into our team to keep building this team so that we can keep that high level of customer service, keep that development going, keep all the marketing, all these amazing events that we put on. It's thanks to you all that we're able to do that. So thank you so much for everything. And that concludes our presentation. We are happy though to hang around for any additional Q&A. We will open it up, and we just appreciate you all being part of this community and coming and spending this hour with us to learn about the new Takeoff feature.
Absolutely, Eric. And we do have a few questions that I know we wanted to ask live here.
Awesome.
So starting off, we have the question about, now that we have this new feature, is it included at the JobTread monthly cost? And are there any plans to increase the cost of JobTread?
Yeah, this is probably my favorite thing about this whole deal, and I know this is going to totally disrupt the industry, but we are including this for no additional cost. This is part of your JobTread subscription. Just like every other new feature we roll out, we want you to have all the tools and all the features and everything we do. That's why we don't have tiers and buckets and charging more for this feature and that feature. Like, I don't like the nickel and diming. I know that you don't like being nickel and dimed. So it is all included with your JobTread subscription. And no, we don't, this is, I think, our third year that we have kept our price at $199 per month. Our goal, like I said earlier, is to keep JobTread as affordable as possible. And we're going to do that. And we love helping you save money. I mean, if you got other subscriptions that you don't need, then our goal is, again, for you to be able to do those things directly in JobTread whenever possible. So yeah, very excited about that.
All right. And quickly, before we get into the Takeoff specific questions, how can someone see a recording of this webinar?
Yeah, so we will immediately, as quickly as we can after this webinar, because I believe some people weren't able to get in, and again, I apologize for that. We will get this video processed. We're going to upload it to our website, to YouTube, to the help desk. We'll post it in JobTread Pros. So we'll definitely get this out to everyone as quickly as we can.
All right. And then what if you are counting items that are on multiple PDFs?
Yeah, so with counting on right now, measurements, they do span only on one page. So just be mindful of that. So if you're using one page, for example, the one that I was doing at here, when I was doing a count, for example, I was doing the 2x3 windows, the 4x6 windows. But you're also able to do what I would recommend for that is maybe do a first floor. And if the second floor is on a different page, create that separate measurement for that second one. Because at the moment it does span across just a single page, those measurements.
But the nice thing is, again, if you have them within the same group, then it's going to automatically sum them up
Exactly.
for you.
Yep, just right there like it is for this one here.
Great. And just so everyone knows, if you want to save the chat from today, you can click those three little dots down where you type in your chat message and choose Save Chat, and it'll save to your computer. So also, what type of file formats can we upload?
Yeah, so we worked with a PDF here, but something that I actually love showing too is you can even do, I mentioned this in the demo, you can even do an aerial view of Google Maps, for example. So you can also do images. So, just to kind of exemplify that, I actually have that available as one of my examples here. I have a screenshot, an aerial screenshot, and there's nothing stopping me from coming in here and using this aerial screenshot. The reason I mentioned Google is because if you don't know, Google actually provides you a scale on those aerial views. So if you need to say, hey, I need to demo out this specific concrete right here, you can do that. You can come in here and you can set the scale again manually on this, and then go start taking areas on these different
Let's
locations.
just show them. That's a pretty neat one.
Yeah. So if I come in here, just let me zoom in on this because I'm going to want that manual scale. Let me hit that manual scale right there. Come in here and say, yep, this is the left end. This is the right end. You can also hold shift to make sure that it stays a straight line, right? Because I'm not so good at staying steady there, but I know that's 20 foot that I just took. So if I do 20 foot, 0 inches, I am now scaled here. It's about 1/8 inch equals 1 foot there. You can see at the bottom. So now I can just come in here and start to take any measurements that I need to here. So again, I'm focused here on this concrete. I can always come in here and I can do another little measurement right here. Maybe I want to demo existing, and I can just come in here and start to do that. So I'll come in here and just click, 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 and I won't be too picky about it, but come in here and now I've got a square footage straight from an aerial view. So yeah, not just PDFs, y'all.
Awesome.
Wonderful. I love that Google Maps thing. I learned that in your presentation last week, Michael.
I did as
Good to
well.
know.
Very cool.
Okay. And can you talk about the concept of new version plans and how old measurements persist?
Oh, that's a great question. So yeah, whenever you come in here and you add a new version, the measurements themselves get transposed over to that second version. So what that gives you is it gives you an opportunity to see how the plans have changed, right? So if I came in here and I did a version 2 of this, and this measurement gets moved over and it's not fitting quite as well, it's probably because the floor plan may have changed a little bit. So I can always come in here and make an adjustment on my area or on my linear foot, or I can just, again, start fresh if I want to, but it does get carried over to that V2. Absolutely.
Okay. And how do we know keyboard shortcuts on the plans tab?
Yeah. So just real quick, and it's not just for the plans tab, but you can also do it on the budget. For example, if you hold down the shift button and the question mark, that will pull up that keyboard shortcuts, and it will be focused, if I'm not mistaken, Eric, on that specific page. So if you're on the plans, it's trying to focus on the plans shortcuts. It's showing some other general ones. If you're on the budget, it's going to show different shortcuts as well. So yeah, depending on what page you're on, you do have different shortcuts.
This is actually something that is available in a lot of web apps. So if you've never tried to hit the shift question mark there, a lot of web apps actually support that, and it'll pull up their keyboard shortcut menu. It's pretty neat.
And then do we have any budget templates with preset parameters that we can download and use?
I believe we do. I think that's something that our team, Anna and Travis, I know they've been working on building those out, and we'd be happy to share those with you if you want to reach out to our support team at support@jobtread.com. But you also have them if you want to talk a little bit about the help desk and global catalog.
With this new global catalog, so we have made a lot of the different budget templates that we had available. We've made them available here for you to basically directly add to your catalog. And so this has given us the framework now to continue adding to these and making them, even more robust. So over the coming weeks and months, we will continue adding to this. If you've got one that you want to share, feel free to send it to your customer success manager or support, and we can look at adding that. But this is now giving us this framework to make it a whole lot easier for you to be able to pull in those templates directly to your catalog so that you don't have to go recreate them all from scratch. I see Barry. So Barry, it's the global catalog. So if you go to your catalog right here, there's a global catalog button right up here. This is also where, like the Home Depot, the SRS, Heritage, where you can actually go and look for their catalogs and their items and start adding them to your catalogs as well. And over time, we're going to work with each of these different suppliers and distributors to create templates as well. But again, we just needed to get the functionality out there, and we're going to start working to populate it with more and more templates and content over the coming months.
All right. And then would you all like to navigate to where our users can find the live trainings?
Absolutely. So it's over here in the help desk. You can always come right here to the training tab. And so this is where you're going to see. So later today, we've got a think tank for the cost catalog and budget templates. Very timely. But you can see all of the upcoming trainings right here. So tomorrow there will be an even more in-depth training at 3 p.m. Central. So you just come here, you just one click that register button, and that will get you in there. And then at the appropriate time, you're able to join the live training then. We do also have them recorded though, just so you know, if you can't make it for whatever reason, we will, so it looks like we've already added one of the on-screen takeoff right here. And so as we add new features and as these trainings evolve, we do replace these recordings with the most up-to-date ones. But obviously it's always a little bit more fun to come live and be able to get your questions answered and everything like that.
All right. I think that's all for our live questions right now. I know we have a few more coming into the chat that Travis and Anna are answering here.
Yeah, if I may here, I'm seeing one here about how to switch between metric and imperial. Appreciate that question. Absolutely. On that plans, any measurement that you're taking, you have the ability to adjust what unit you are working in. So by clicking the 3 dots on the top level, right, the header of that group of parameters, you can change that unit to either an imperial or switch over to a metric. So that also does impact, for example, if I go down to my concrete here, if I'm going to go and start working instead of cubic yards in cubic meters, that's going to go change my depth into centimeters as well. So yes, you do have that flexibility to adjust those units. Absolutely.
I see a question about the adding your own suppliers to the catalog. So in the coming weeks, we will be adding on our website more information for suppliers and distributors who want to get on the JobTread global catalog here. Obviously we're going to work through and get the ones that have the APIs and the ability for us to fully integrate and automate this process, but there will be another option if someone is interested. We're going to look at essentially enabling them to manually populate a catalog that we could then share with everyone. Still need to kind of figure out all the details of that, but we have set ourselves up to be able to do that. And we're also going to have, if any of you are through the using the connected organization feature, let's say your franchise is on here, or you're part of a group or your bookkeepers, and they provide you all the templates. Like, we're going to also enable just the sharing through the connected organization so that they can make their catalogs available just to their connected organizations there. So there's definitely a lot more coming with this. We're just really excited to have finally gotten this framework out there for us to go and continually building upon. But it won't necessarily have to be the API integrations. We will look at other ways. I think we just need to sort of figure out a couple more things about being able to narrow it down geographically, because obviously local suppliers, don't need to, be showing up to everyone everywhere. And I have a feeling this group would be down to go all day, huh? Pretty exciting, right?
Some awesome questions.
Yeah, and again, we'd love to be able to continue this conversation. The think tanks would be a great place to do that. Office hours with your customer success managers would also be a great way to keep it going. And then obviously in the Facebook group, JobTread Pros, definitely can't wait to see all of the ways that you guys can implement this new Takeoff. Be able to really streamline your processes, have much more accurate estimates, turn out those bids a lot quicker. I really want to see you all leveraging these tools to help you win more jobs and to be able to complete them on time and on budget. Swallo's about to have a really good day. I love hearing that. Thanks, Scott. Does the Takeoff integrate with render? So we did just launch the render integration. We are going to continue to work with AJ and his team over there at Render to really be able to fully take their kind of their outputs and populate them directly into our plans and our Takeoff. Right now it's just pulling in the measurement data into parameters, but we've already been talking. We are already looking at ways that we'll be able to continue doing a lot more with it. This again, this is just the beginning, folks. See a couple questions about, are there accounting trainings? I do believe there are some bookkeeping trainings. Is that right, Anna?
Yeah. So we do have, I would encourage all of our accountants to go to and take that bookkeeper certification. That's a series of questions and videos that goes through all of the financial pieces in JobTread, how we work with QuickBooks and Gusto. In addition, there's also some recorded videos that on the videos tab in the help desk that you can learn more about those pieces as well.
Seems like maybe we need a Takeoff certification. Maybe that will be coming in the near future. I don't know. Just thought of my
I
head.
volunteer to come up with the questions for that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perhaps, Anna says. All right. Let's see.
Volunteer.
Volunteers tribute. Nice. Let's see. Did we get
Thanks, Scott.
complex projects? We have dozens of revisions of plans, different professionals. Example, the architect, structural engineer, electrical. Need a better way to organize plans within the plans tab. That looks like a bunch of people are typing.
Yeah.
It'd be helpful to have the tracks for each position, sales, PM, foreman.
For the certification.
Oh, for the certification. Okay. Yep. It's great feedback. So it doesn't look like the chat can actually be saved. I think we sort of learned that just a second ago. So if there's a particular question that you needed answered or you didn't catch the answer, do feel free to reach out to support or the JobTread Pros group. I think we might be able to export it, but I'll have to see. I've looked at these sometimes and it's just like so much content that it can be a little bit hard to read through it. The Hunter, the character count for project names, it's set to 30. There's some limitations in a few of our integrations that actually have sort of determined that as well as kind of some UI areas where if it were to get longer than that, it would create some not so great experiences. So I think there are a couple technical reasons why we have it set at 30 there. All right. Well, let's see. Liliana, I already have formulas. The thing is now rethinking when we get the plans on how to incorporate the Takeoff into the formulas in the catalog. So yeah, so definitely this will require a little bit of thought to go back through your catalog and look at how you've set up the formulas. We understand that.
And I think we're having a think tank for Takeoff as well, right, Eric?
Yes, I believe so.
So that might be a good opportunity to maybe see what other people are doing as well. I think one specific to on-screen Takeoff right there, the January 30th. So I know we'll have people on there expressing kind of their opinions and their efficiencies and their processes. So definitely look towards attending that if you can, because I always hear valuable information coming out of those think tanks.
Yeah. And one thing I would caution everyone before, I see someone kind of talking about maybe deleting some things in your catalog. Do export everything and save it first. Take a backup of your catalog and everything in there. Just make sure you got that saved before you do go deleting, because it can't always get it back. All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap it. I see we're just a few minutes over top of the hour here, so don't want to take up too much more time. But again, we really appreciate everyone coming out to learn. We look forward to working with you all to get this implemented And yeah, we will keep iterating based on your feedback. We did just add a new category on the feature request board for Takeoff. So if you have feature ideas, ways that we can keep enhancing it, making it better, we're all ears. Please do submit those on the feature request tab. And we look forward to making this the best product that we possibly can. Thank you all.